Now, throughout our study of microeconomics, one term that you'll hear over and over and over again is the term marginal. We like to think that economics is thinking on the margin. And margins matter to economists because margin means what's next. What's the incremental increase or decrease in something? And given the fact that at any point in time we're making decisions, economic decisions are decisions that are made on the margin. At the point where we're standing today, when we make a decision, what's going to be added or subtracted based on that decision. So now let's transform total revenue, the maximum amount or the amount of dollars that are received given different prices and quantities, into marginal revenue. That's this column here. Marginal revenue. I've changed the color a little bit. And notice how this is calculated. It's simply calculated as the difference between the starting point, total revenue of 7, to 12, marginal revenue is 5. It's simply the incremental increase. And it is an increase all the way up to the maximum at 16. 15 to 16, I'm still increasing in my margins, 1, but once price is lowered to 3, even though quantity increases, total revenue is 15, that's a decrease in marginal revenue. Marginal revenue runs from 5 to a minus 5, reflecting the fact that total revenue is increasing to a point and then decreasing, so marginal revenue is positive and then negative. And this particular point here will be an important point that we will graph to show the point at which marginal revenue turns from positive to negative. Let's look closer at marginal revenue, in particular by considering simply the term marginal and what it means to economics. It turns out that marginal is a very intimate term in microeconomics. Economists think on the margin. That is, at any one point in time, wherever you are, your decision to go forward and the alternatives that you choose will offer a marginal benefit or a marginal cost. So economic analysis is effectively thinking on the margin. That is, making decisions that involve marginal costs or marginal benefits. In this particular context, the change in prices as we look down the chart that we're working with today, those changes in prices cause changes in quantity demanded, and those are then reflected together jointly, price times quantity, in total revenue, and at each step, total revenue either increases or decreases. It increases or decreases at the margin. So the focus point here is going to be on what happens to marginal revenue. At each point that price is decreased, quantity demanded is increased. Does that add revenue, positive marginal revenue, or does it decrease revenue, negative marginal revenue? We're going to take marginal revenue and use that because we can actually graph the marginal revenue curve and use that as a means of trying to identify certain points where elasticity changes in the demand curve. So, now we have elasticity, actually the focus of this little vignette. Elasticity is a measure of responsiveness. You might think of the responsiveness of a garment that you wear, like your underwear, and it has an elastic band. It's elastic, it's responsive to your movements, so it's flexible. That is, it's sensitive to your movements. Elasticity reflects the same thing in economics. It's a responsiveness of quantity demanded to a change in price, or a responsiveness of quantity demanded to a change in income, or even a responsiveness of the quantity demanded of one good with respect to the change in price of another. So we think of prices in the context of microeconomics. Remember, prices and choices, that prices will change the choices of the things that are purchased, quantities demanded. And so elasticity will help us quantify the degree of responsiveness with respect to those changes in prices. Let's look at the graph again. What I've done here is to calculate elasticity for you. So let me show you the formula. It's right across the top as I've tried to keep things together. Elasticity can be quantified as the percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by or given, we can say, change in quantity demanded given a change in price. We'll measure these in percentages because what that will do is in the percentages it will wipe out the units and the dollars so that elasticity becomes a unitless index of the responsiveness of quantity demanded to prices as we move from one price to another. Now let's look at those changes, these percentage changes in quantity demanded given a percentage change in price. And the way I've organized the chart is I've kept quantity and then price here so that we can compare the two and take the percentage changes. When we go from a price of 7 to a price of 6, our base is 7, our change is 1. So the percentage change is 1/7, or about 12%. Here, on a base of 1, quantity demanded has doubled, so it's 1 over 1. That's effectively a 100% increase in quantity demanded, and you can see it over here from 1 to 2. We're going to do that all the way down the chart, so let's very quickly notice the easy thing is that both the changes in quantity demanded and price are 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and the same here. Now, because price is being decreased, this is actually negative. So it's a -1, a -1, all the way down. And I've just carried the bases through. The base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the base in price, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So once these percentages are calculated, I just need to divide the two to get my elasticity. So if I divide 1 over 1 by 1 over 7, elasticity is 7. We just flip and multiply, so my elasticity will be 7, 3, 5/3, 4 over 4 for 1, 3 over 5, just the inverse of the 1 above it, and 2 over 6, effectively the inverse of 3. Notice what's happened to elasticity with respect to marginal revenue. And remember that throughout these, although we really don't speak of it, these elasticities are all negative. Elasticity is conventionally given in absolute terms because what we're really interested in is whether or not it's greater than 1 or less than 1. Notice here, all greater than 1, equal to 1, and less than 1. Now why is that? This movement of elasticity from something greater than 1 to less than 1 is a perfect index of how responsive quantity demanded is to a change in price. If the percentage change in quantity is greater than the percentage change in price, elasticity will be greater than 1 because the numerator is greater than the denominator. And we think that a, say, 50% change in price gives me a 100% change in quantity. That tells me that quantity demanded is highly sensitive to a change in price. If we go to an index number less than 1, say a fraction, then that means that the quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price. Quantity demanded is not as sensitive.